Hey guys, welcome back. It's Big Shoulders, and today we have a guest. Today we're trying something a little new with the screen behind us, trying to build these production values for you all that have been so dedicated in watching. Really appreciate it. But today I wanted to do something other than just run my mouth. I wanted to give an opportunity basically to one of the cool kids from California. And I have to say I'm biased. My nephew, also known as DJ Kolour Kode, those of you out there that are in the scene.
How's it going, everybody? Thanks for having me, by the way.
Absolutely. Super talented dude here.
Thank you.
And we wanted to cover, because obviously all I do is run my mouth on this channel about how great Chicago is and what we have and what's so dope about it. But today I thought it would be actually a good idea to have somebody from the outside. Somebody who really is outside of my sphere of influence. This guy, he's doing his own thing. I'm not paying him. I'm not bribing him. But yeah, so Eric,
yes,
in a recent visit to Chicago, anything I guess that stood out in the beginning? Obviously, we'll get into the minutia here, the details of your first visit. But what were some of the things that first struck you about Chicago? I know, flying in while we were there, just sort of first impressions.
Sure. First of all, amazing city, a very just cool, and I mean cool with the capital C, cool of a city.
Okay.
Right? So we took a red eye, and so my cousin and I, Mike, we flew in about 7 a.m., and we took an Uber to our Airbnb. But I was so tired that I actually fell asleep the moment we got on the Uber, so I didn't really get to see the city as we were driving in, nor as we were descending down.
Gotcha.
But we did get dropped off pretty much right outside of Wrigley Field. I believe the donut shop is called Do Right Donuts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do Right. We love it.
We actually got dropped off right there, and the place that we stayed at was it was right across the street from the field, right?
Yeah. I got a house for everybody because it was just we had 9 of us, and so these kids' first experience in Chicago was right behind Wrigley Field. We were 2 blocks, if that, walk from the Addison stop, so we were cooking from the start.
Yeah. So I guess first impressions was extremely clean city.
Right.
And we also did go in November, so I'm a huge fall guy. Like autumn is probably my favorite time of the year. I grew up in Sacramento, so our summers are like god-awful hot. Like I'm talking about 110 on average.
Right.
So I always look forward to the fall, and I think we went in the perfect time in November. All the leaves were just covered, like it was covering all the asphalt, just yellow, orange.
Yep.
It was a nice cool breeze. It wasn't too cold. It wasn't super rainy. It was honestly perfect for my taste. So aside from the leaves being just all over the street,
Yeah,
and
if
the
we had gotten
sidewalks,
there like a few,
it was a very clean, a very clean first impression. Like
Awesome.
No garbage on the street. Streets were well maintained. I didn't see any potholes. At least I don't remember.
I
seeing
mean,
any
there are
potholes.
definitely potholes in Illinois, but
Maybe not as much as out here.
I mean, we were walking a lot. We were on the L a lot, so we and that's one of the things I make sure the Cali family doesn't. We don't Uber too much. We walk probably 12 to 15 miles a day when we're in the city, and we get towards the end. Then if it's late on a Saturday, we will or Sunday or whatever, we'll Uber. But no, that's one of the things I get from a lot of people. Chicagoans, we don't really understand just how clean our city is in comparison to others. What was the other thing you said? The cleanliness. Oh, fall.
Yeah, fall season.
Yeah, autumn is my favorite time of year. It's my favorite time of year in the city. Chicago, if we had caught it maybe a few weeks earlier, those beautiful leaves would have been more on the trees than they were on the ground.
Fair enough.
But there was still enough foliage on the trees. And what I love about fall in Chicago is, one, we have this great architecture. Then you've got the foliage that sort of frames the architecture throughout the city. The brick, the steel, the glass. So I'm glad you guys noticed that you appreciated that. Now you guys got there earlier. The spot wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I know you guys hit a few places. So right off the bat, they're digging into the Chicago cuisine. So share with me a little bit about that from...
Yeah, so actually we got dropped off and then walked over to the Airbnb. By then it was probably still like 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m. We couldn't check in until like 3 in the afternoon. So we just got on our maps and we were just like, let's just find the nearest park and kind of just like sit there for a few hours until we're able to check in. And I remember my cousin Mike, he was studying, he had some schoolwork to do, so we just found a park with the little picnic table. He just did his studying.
Right.
You know, I was just screwing around on my phone, but I was also kind of looking around and just like, okay, this is like, we're in Chicago now.
Right.
You know, like, can't wait to get settled in. But the first meal that we actually got, this was when we finally checked in the afternoon. We were just scrolling on DoorDash, you know, like any other tourist would do. And we found this place. It's called Flip Siggy. FLIPSIGI.
Filipino spot.
Yes, and literally their tagline says, Flip Siggy, the original Filipino taqueria. And then it also said,
Nice.
Island born and Cali bred. And when I say Cali bread, we actually ordered a California burrito, which I'm sure you all might know is a burrito with potatoes and meat, usually some avocado, guacamole, sour cream. But this one in particular came with adobo chicken, French fries, tomatoes, cheese, and avocado crema.
Okay.
So that was item number 1.
Wow.
And then we also got a longanisa crunch wrap supreme. So everybody loves a good crunch wrap from Taco Bell, but this one in particular had, let me pull up the menu. There's like a few different versions here. So the brunch wrap supreme, this one came with cheesy eggs, crumbled sweet longanisa sausage, which if you know, right?
Right.
Lettuce, tomato, guacamole crema, crunchy sinigang hash browns, home run hot sauce. I'm guessing that's a little throw on the Cubbies, right?
Yes.
Yep. The banana ketchup, which is also a very Filipino thing,
Yep.
and served with French fries or tater tots. And I believe the third thing we got was a poutine of some sort, but I forgot what like meat or something came on it. I've never had poutine before, and that was just one of those like, oh, let's try it.
Right.
It was good, but my favorite thing was obviously, I would have to say the Crunch Wrap Supreme, the Brunch Wrap Supreme with the longanisa.
Okay. No, this is one thing. Sort of a little backstory for those of you that haven't watched all the episodes or other stuff on my channel. The other half of my family, my Cali family, is Filipino, so it leave it to the Filipino nephews to arrive in Chicago and be able to immediately zero in on Filipino food, which is great.
That's Mike.
Yeah, no,
Shout
for
out to
sure.
Mike,
No,
my cousin Mike.
no. We'll get Mike on here at some point. But Mike is the he is the kinesiologist. He's the rugby player. He's going into Cairo school, so he's super active. And the kid, the amount of food that this kid can put away is impressive. But that's something too, is sort of looking at Chicago, specifically the west side, but really all sides of Chicago now, and really seeing the impact and the sort of the embeddedness, the growth of Filipino food and Filipino fusion food, not just in the city, but all over. Like you expect it in places like California because the largest Asian group in California are Filipinos, but it's not far off sort of the same deal in Chicago, on the west side, in places like Ukrainian Village, West Town.
Really took me by surprise.
Oh my God, there's so many good Filipino spots. And so I love watching how Filipino food it's becoming more recognized, people are really understanding just how bomb it is, how delicious it is. And it's sort of just fusing itself into everything else, like Italian food, like Chinese food, like Mexican food. So that's a great start. That's a great start.
It's delicious.
Thereafter, did you guys? I'm trying to remember what happened after that. Were there any other sites, any other neighborhoods, any other spots we ate?
As far as the first day when Mike and I were real quick, Mike and I, we flew in Wednesday morning, so we had the entire first day just to ourselves. My parents, Mike's mom, Kyle and Uncle Ken, they actually didn't arrive until the following morning. So I'm pretty sure Mike and I, we were just so tired that we just bummed it at the Airbnb, caught up on some rest. I can't even remember what we ordered for dinner that night. I think we just pigged out so much on that first meal that that might have been it for us. But the real party happened when everyone else arrived the next morning. You guys pulled up. Had to have been like early, like 7 a.m. in the morning. Like Mike and I were still sleeping. They arrived at the Airbnb.
Yep.
And I know that was Thursday, right? I want to say it was Thursday.
And we can hop around here.
Yeah. I actually have an itinerary right here. My mom, as you know, journally as she is, she loves to log our trips. So
Got
she
the
actually
itinerary. Awesome.
So this is Thursday, November 3rd. At least my parents, they headed south via Red Line back to the Loop.
Right.
And then that first day is when we went to Kasama.
That's right.
I think
Yes.
once everybody,
Kasama, which is it's really become it's one of the pilgrimages that we all make, because Kasama, for those of you you really should know by now, Kasama is the first Michelin star rated Filipino restaurant in the world, and it is here in Chicago. So it talk about a special spot. And
delicious.
It's just amazing.
We had a blackberry like pastry
Ube tart. Yep.
It was blackberry and ube tart that had the Filipino sun, like powder sugar dusted.
Powder
like,
sugar pressed the Filipino stars and shield
if I could
onto the pastry. It's beautiful.
Find a picture, but I don't want to spend the whole time.
It's I'll throw it in.
We also had it was a ube latte. Is that what it was?
Yes, the ube latte. I get that every time.
That was delicious.
Yes.
It was like you're drinking a nice warm hug.
It is. Oh my god, it's
a liquid hug.
Yeah.
There was a longanisa breakfast sandwich, I think that Mike got, and there was another plate. I think I'm sure it was just a regular like silog breakfast. Silog meaning like any leftover meat or any meat that you have in your fridge, a side of rice, usually garlic rice and an egg.
Yes, and you just
most quintessential Filipino breakfast.
You take the leftovers, you put it on the garlic rice, you put an egg on top of that. That's basically Filipino breakfast.
Yep, exactly.
And something else that I'm trying to remember. I believe at one point, I'm not sure, it had to have been this trip, where Mike, he had also at Kasama, they have their own spin on the Chicago Italian beef sandwich. Only it is a longanisa sausage with shaved pork instead of shaved beef.
Wait, where was this?
At Kasama. Yeah, they have their own spin on the
Holy
Chicago
crap,
beef.
did anybody order that?
Beef. I don't remember. He did. I swear to God, because I think he did, but I don't remember if anybody else did. And I think it was him. It might have been Ken. I can't remember.
Holy crap.
But they have, that's the other thing too, is while they have their standard Filipino dishes, they have their sisig, they have their adobo, they have their pancit, all of those things. But they also have that because they're Chicago folks. They are doing their own spin on Chicago classics like the Chicago Italian beef, only doing it in Filipino way with... and what we do in Chicago, for those of you that don't know, you can get a Chicago-style Italian beef with a Maxwell Street Polish or an Italian sausage inside of it. What Kasama, right? Jesus. As if you could improve on an Italian beef. But what Kasama does is, I believe it's a longanisa sausage with the shaved pork done the way you do the Italian beef, and with giardiniera and the chips and the drink. Absolutely fantastic. I love, they have and it's funny because I don't eat a lot of sweets. I'm not a huge sweets guy, but I love Kasama has their, it's a fruit tart with a dollop of white chocolate something.
Ganache of some sort.
Some beautiful, just delicious thing on top of it. That with an ube latte. Again, I don't go in hard on desserts, but when I go to Kasama, I have to. They're just so good.
I actually got my days mixed up. So Wednesday, November 2nd was the first day that everyone was together. So according to this here, it says my parents arrived at O'Hare 1:40 p.m. and then we met them at the airport, and then we jumped on the blue line to the red line.
Nice.
And our first actual stop as the group has finally come together was Small Cheval.
Oh, dude. Yeah, this is
Small Cheval. They still had their suitcases with them, so that's how I remember that.
That's right.
Yeah,
I do remember us going and meeting at Small Cheval. Small Cheval, for those of you that don't know, and this is not me being cocky or me being a jerk or whatnot, I do think it might be, it has to be in the top 3 or top 5 burgers in the world. It's just
such a plain and simple burger too, but holy moly, every element of that burger was just top tier quality.
For those of you again that may not be aware, their mothership is called Au Cheval, which is right there in the Fulton Market neighborhood of, it's sort of like where West Loop near West meets West Town, sort of West Side, and yeah, they started there. The burger in the restaurant It's obviously it's burger, it's cheese, it's pickle. You got an egg on there, but you can also choose to put this thick, delicious bacon on top, which is, again, leave it to Chicago and stack the meat on top of the meat on top of the meat. It's this thick. It's beautiful.
It's a bacon steak.
And then they have their satellite spots, small Chevals throughout the city, where it's just burgers and fries. I think burger fries. I think you can get a shake.
And beers, I think.
Yeah, it's not their full menu. You want the full menu, you go to Au Cheval. It's small Cheval. It is. It's one of my favorite places. It's become a place for the Cali fam. Like literally, we'll start with that and we'll end with that. Mm-hmm. Just like some of us will start with an Italian beef and end with an Italian beef. So small Cheval, folks, absolutely.
All right. So that was first meal, and I believe dinner was Giordano's that first night.
That's right.
Everyone was there.
That's right. Giordano's.
That was delicious.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, please.
No, I was just gonna say my only deep dish experiences up to that point was, I think, just BJ's.
Okay. What about Masa? Masa of Echo Park?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's
JK.
Right. That's right.
So Masa was actually my first real Chicago
deep dish
style
experience.
Deep dish experience. Before that it was just BJ's, which I wouldn't even know if you consider that deep dish. It's like very, I don't know. I mean,
I've never had it, and I've actually been actively encouraged. Nothing against the BJ's people,
yeah,
but
it was good, but that was the only experience that I've had. So of course I'm gonna say it's good,
right?
But what I really,
and it might not be bad. Like again, I'm not. It's Chicago pizza politics is so complex. I
didn't know that they went this hard in the whole pizza.
Oh
debate.
my God! Again, food and especially pizza is religion in Chicago. But Giordano's to me is one of the most solid. Nothing against any of the others. I love the others, but for me, Giordano's has always been super consistent. So I've always gone there. When I lived on the far north side, there was one near me. When I lived on the west side, there was one near me. Giordano's is technically a stuffed pizza. It's it's in the deep dish family. I would say Pizzeria Uno and Lou Malnati's are more, if you're going to get super technical, true deep dish, and all that. But again, Giordano's is deep dish as far as I'm concerned. It's consistent. Brought the fellas to a place called Quiet Masa of Echo Park.
Yes.
It is a Chicago style Italian joint in LA in the Echo Park neighborhood. And they do a deep dish. That was really their first experience with it. But they do other things too. They have a great chicken parm. Quiet boy. Sorry, my dog is popping off, of course, because we're recording.
It's a great restaurant. Shout out Masa of Echo Park.
Masa of Echo Park is fantastic. It's run by two Chicagoans that I assume got sick of shoveling snow and wanted to double their living costs in California. So they moved down here. There's that. But then, we got in and we did Giordano's, I remember now.
Dinner, and then it looks like we just walked around and headed back to the Airbnb.
Because after deep dish, you don't settle in after deep dish. You definitely want to
walk that off.
Yeah, you have to.
Oh, yeah.
You have to walk it off. It's a lot. But it's delicious. Again, I am more... for my pizza experiences, I'll do deep dish, but I'm more of a tavern style guy. Those of you that are Chicagoans know that 99% of the time, most Chicagoans are eating tavern style, which we did as well. But
that's the next day, actually.
Oh, all right, cool.
We'll get there very shortly. I mean, if it's cool with you guys, I'm just going to run through the itinerary of my trip, and then
absolutely,
then we'll just chop it up after that and talk about maybe some future ideas.
Yeah.
So I guess day 3 for Mike and I, but day 2 for everyone else. Headed south via Red Line back to the Loop, took bus to Kasama. So that was Kasama. We waited in the rain for quite a while. There's always a long line. But that's how you know the place is crushing it.
Yep.
Walked back up north, then jumped onto train, headed down to City Walk. So this was the day that we did the boat tour, the architectural boat tour, which I think was probably my favorite activity of the whole trip.
Okay.
That was really, really cool. I mean, I've always seen, movies with the ferry and, the trip and stuff like, or the boats and stuff like that.
Instagram is covered with shots of downtown and the river.
With the river
walk,
yeah, exactly. But actually there's one thing being like walking along the river, but like being on the river too, and like
great.
you're just sitting there and like all the buildings are just coming past you.
Right.
That was a very surreal experience because like I didn't know that Chicago took so much pride in just architectural design building.
Oh yeah, Chicago. It's kind of an accident of history that after the Great Chicago Fire, we had to rebuild.
Yeah.
And we had sort of the giants of Chicago history, of industry, really wanted to make their mark on it, and they wanted to make the city special, and they wanted to sort of push the envelope of, we're the birthplace of the skyscraper, so there is a particular pride we take in our buildings, and it is definitely, it's something that I think it's a must do. Wherever you're from, whatever corner of the world, even if you live in Chicago, you need to, I think it's worth going at least once or even twice a year to remind yourself of just the depth of the architectural history, the different styles. It's that beautiful stretch there downtown along the river, really just, it's past, present, and like futuristic stuff that goes on there. So I'm so glad that you guys enjoyed that, because it's something, everybody's different. Some people are just foodies, some people are just partiers, but I do think the culture of Chicago is so deep in our architecture, for sure, and that's awesome. Yeah, everyone should do it.
I really, really, really recommend that to anybody that goes to Chicago. Make a reservation for that boat tour for sure.
And it's funny too, just as an aside, when I was a kid, downtown wasn't you would go downtown for you go to Soldiers Field for Bears games. There were things to do downtown. There's always the Magnificent Mile, that stretch of Michigan Avenue where you could, but it wasn't, growing up, it wasn't it wasn't the big deal that it is now. In the past 15 to 20 years with Millennium Park, Maggie Daley Park, all of the development and really just cool stuff that's happened downtown, not to mention the incredible cleanliness of the Chicago River. The Chicago River did not look like that when I was a kid. You have people kayaking. I think I even have people swimming there now, fishing. Obviously, I don't think they eat the fish, but it was not something that we did back then. So it's so cool to see my city just improve, beautify these spaces for everyone. So no matter where you come from, you can enjoy it, and that's awesome. Please.
Very much enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Looks like after that we got Buona Beef.
Buona Beef.
Yeah.
There's one right on McClurg, I believe, because we were downtown. We weren't going to go too far. Buona Beef, if I'm not mistaken, if I check my history, I believe is a South Side beef place, and Buona Beef is solid. I know everybody has their favorite spots, and I like Buona Beef. I like Al's.
I really want to try Al's next time.
Yeah, we will. We definitely.
That's for sure.
Jax, on one of our trips, she, my niece, she is a dainty, classy broad that works for Chanel. Used to work for Prada. She literally took off her Chanel sweater, rolled up her sleeves, and went in on a full baptized Italian beef and just took it like a champ. Just amazing. So we're definitely going to have these guys try Al's next trip. But yeah, Al's is solid. Buona Beef is solid. I think it's a good introduction. Everybody has their favorites. I know that Adam Witt, who I absolutely love, I would love to get him on the show. They did an Italian beef. They went to like 5 different places. So don't attack me in the comments. I love Buona. I love Al's. I love Portillo's. It's all good. But
super, super solid.
Yeah.
That was a great post tour. Yeah. Post tour meal.
Yeah, we probably walked 10 blocks after that, so you got to refill.
Colectivo, was that the
Colectivo, the cafe,
the 90s memorabilia type?
That was Standing Passengers.
Never mind. Which one was Colectivo? Where was that at?
They're throughout the city. I'm foggy on this. It's Colectivo coffee. They're fantastic. They're throughout the city. They're a solid cafe.
It says we did that after Buona Beef, so I'm trying to remember.
So it had to be downtown.
Where that was and what we were doing.
Let me see. I could try to look it up. Colectivo downtown. For some reason,
there's some blurs from that trip.
Yeah,
for example, back to back to Giordano's. Like, for some reason, I don't remember walking to Giordano's. I don't remember waiting to be sat at Giordano's. I don't even remember what the place looked like.
Right.
I just remember eating the pizza at the table. You know?
Yeah. It was a blur. I pack in so much for these guys. We do so much walking. You know, they don't have a sense of place yet in terms of, you know, though Chicago is a grid. You know, I'm dragging them from this L stop to that L stop, and then we're jumping off here, and then we're walking 5 blocks, and then we're hopping back on. And then we're on the brown line, we're on the green line, we're on the red line, we're downtown, we're west side, whatever. So it's a lot I throw at these guys. They're such good sports. Collectivo, I don't remember it myself, but it's a solid Chicago coffee spot. It's worth it. If you're buy one, check them out. But
I guess it was a good little recharge, you know.
Chicago does coffee. Those of you who know Chicago, in fact, they even got a cameo, I believe, in season 2 of The Bear. Nice. Dark Matter Coffee. Your dad absolutely adores Dark Matter coffee. So many Chicago spots serve Dark Matter. It is a solid, delicious coffee. You won't blink, I promise, after a cup of that. But what else we got here, man?
So looks like Coop picked up and took us around the north.
That's right.
Up north to drive through Evanston, Winnetka,
Kenilworth.
Baha'i Temple?
The Baha'i Temple.
Yeah, Baha'i Temple.
My cousin, who lives far north, like Evanston area, he was kind enough to take everyone on.
Shout out cousin Mike.
Yes, Mike Koof. Also, you can follow Mike on 90-second recap on Instagram. He does a sports history lesson in 90 seconds. He drops one almost every day. He has encyclopedic knowledge of sports history. Just amazing stuff. And it's not limited to Chicago sports. He covers everything. But
go check him out.
Yeah, definitely check him out. He's a great follow. Mike brought us around I guess it would be sort of the North Shore suburbs of Evanston, Kenilworth, Winnetka. He basically gave the family the John Hughes tour. He showed us the Ferris Bueller house. Yep. He showed us the 16 Candles house. He showed us the Home Alone house. Everybody.
That was really cool.
It was really great. You know,
and then talk about fall, autumn with the leaves and the trees. Wow, like that is a beautiful neighborhood.
Yeah, the north suburbs are gorgeous in the
fall time
because the homes are beautiful.
Absolutely,
you're
gorgeous.
right there, sort of near the lake.
Very gorgeous.
The fall foliage again, you can't beat it. It's just it's cool, but it's not cold. And it gets another bit of, if anybody, from outside Chicago knows, they know Chicago on film. They know the John Hughes films. They know, the Blues Brothers, all that sort of stuff. So, Mike, he's a solid dude, solid guy, takes a lot of pride in the city. And Chicagoland, as we call it, just as much as I do. And so that was a lot of fun. Shout out to Mike. Thanks.
Yeah, big shout out to Uncle Mike. After that was Vito and Nick's. Joe, from north to south.
Oh, I mean,
all the way south.
This is what a great guy Mike Coop is. So after giving us the grand tour of Evanston, Winnetka, Kenilworth, brought us to the Baha'i Temple there in Evanston, which is it Evanston or Winnetka? I can never remember exactly where, but it's in that area. It's a beautiful building. It was a beautiful, fun walk. It's a bit of Chicago history. It's a bit of sort of comparative religious history.
Yeah.
Super cool. And then from there, the generosity of Mike's didn't stop there. Then we all loaded up into the truck and we went far south down to 94th to the oldest pizzeria in all of Chicagoland, the great Vito and Nick's. And this place is near and dear to my heart, or as the super fans, near and dear to my heart. Okay, it hasn't changed. I don't think the way it looked when we went was the way it looked when I was in college, was the way it looked when I was a teenager, was the way it looked when I was a little kid. The place hasn't changed at all. I don't think they've touched the place since maybe the mid-'70s. You've got old wood paneling. You've got old, just fixtures and paintings. And it's they do the true Chicago thin crust tavern style pizza, and we just kept them coming. Mm-hmm. And pictures of old style beer that is Chicago's beer. People rag on it. It's light. It's crisp. It pairs perfectly.
This is not a paid ad, by the way. This is just a cool beer.
The
like
people
a
at
dope
Heilemann's,
beer.
Old South, they're not paying us. But it is a quintessential.
It's what you need when you're eating.
It pairs well with pizza. It pairs well with hot dogs. It pairs well with Italian beef. It pairs well with Italian steak sandwich. It pairs, everything. And yeah, it was probably one of all the places we went. All of these were great. But Vito and Nick's was one of my favorites. Like
that was old school. That was really cool.
It is old school Chicago. It is they're cash only, by the way, and there's no ATMs that I know of nearby. So come ready, come prepared to order. There's really no wrong way to order. Get a sausage, get a pepperoni, get a cheese. All of it's good. The sauce is so perfect. Like, I feel like the true measure of a pizzeria is if a place can crush a cheese pizza, that's the sort of the testament of it. And I mean, it was great. I don't want to speak for you, but yeah.
No, it was. This guy's never steered us wrong, like ever. Whether it's out here, whether it's out in Chicago, or here being LA, whether it's out in Chicago. This is the guy you want to go on a tour with.
I'm telling you,
you want him to be a tour guide.
Hashtag King Sing on Instagram, KYNGSYNG. I will hook anybody up who wants to set something up. Just drop me a line on Instagram. But not only, thank you very much. I feel like I have really worked hard to curate the best spots. Nothing makes me sadder than when I'll watch these videos, these travel vlogs of people who don't have an inside Chicago guy or gal, and they go in and they get stuck downtown. Nothing against downtown. Downtown is great, but I watched this couple from Europe. They were downtown the entire time. The only two food places that made it onto their vlog was Corner Bakery, which is a chain. Nothing against Corner Bakery, but you've come to the city of Chicago. You have come to one of the great culinary capitals of the world, and you went to Corner Bakery in the Starbucks Reserve Roastery. Nothing against Starbucks. We love Starbucks. I'm honored that they chose Chicago as a roastery city. It's a cool joint. It's a great spot.
It is cool. I did check it out.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and it's
just to see it. It is cool to see.
Oh, it is absolutely super cool. But then you want to go to places like Standing Passengers on the west side. We were walking through. I don't remember where we came from. If we had come from, and I might be jumping ahead on your itinerary here, but
no worries. I'm trying to see
we went
too.
somewhere, and we were walking through the west side, and I believe it started to rain. We ducked into a coffee spot, and that coffee spot just happened to be Standing Passengers. Standing Passengers
really cool.
It's awesome, eclectic, funky coffee house on, I believe, Chicago Avenue on the west side. And we ducked in. They have old video games, like those tabletop video games. They've got like old funky couches, and they just make badass coffee. They brew dark matter, which again, that is a hardcore Chicago brand. And we just hung out, and we dried off, and we drank coffee, and we played games, and we talked shit, and we just had a really great time. And then eventually the rain broke, and we went on our way. But check out the Starbucks Reserve Roastery, but explore the city. Get your CTA card, get your CTA pass, ride the rails. Standing Passengers on the west side. You have the Perfect Cup off of the Damon Brown line on the north side. You have Sip and Savor. They have several locations on the south side. That's one of my favorite coffee spots too. All of them are great. But yeah, I know it's easy. We see brands we know, we see brands we trust, and brands we love. Nothing wrong with that. But when you're in a new place, try
Gotta go
stuff.
local.
Go local. Yeah. Absolutely go local.
Absolutely.
What else we noticing, man?
Looks like if all right, so if Vito and Nick's tavern style pizza wasn't enough, I'm guessing it had to have been just a couple hours later. We got Wiener Circle.
Oh my God! Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Which
so we went really hard this whole first day. Now here's the thing. To be fair, in our defense, we're not total pigs. Again, we're eating tavern style thin crust Chicago pizza. Okay, you have to understand. Tavern style pizza, the true Chicago pizza, is merely a vehicle for toppings. So even if you go through several pies, you're not loaded down in the same way if you got a decent sized Chicago deep dish, okay? You're not reeling from that. So thereafter, we go from the far south side from Vito and Nick's, and we all climb back into the truck, and the great Mike Coop, my cousin, God bless him, drives us up to another Chicago institution. Those of you, if you know, Wiener Circle, right there, which is Lincoln Park. And it's so funny because his father had never been, and I forgot to warn Bernie about what the deal is with Wiener Circle. For those of you that don't
know what you want before you get to the counter.
Well, this is true of most Chicago joints, whether you're at Wiener Circle or you're at Johnny's or you're at Red Hot Ranch or you're wherever you are. It's a good idea to just, if you're with somebody, well, what do they get? Just have your order ready. We're not rude, okay? But time's money, motherfucker. We got to, what do you want? You want a burger? You want a dog? What do you want? And so we get to Wiener Circle because the pizza wasn't enough, apparently. Mm-hmm. And so we're ordering stuff here, and your dad walks up, and he's not sure about his order.
Well, what would you recommend? What's your favorite?
And the queens, our African-American queens of Chicago that staff and run the Wiener Circle, went in on Bernie. Bernie is a solid dude with a shaved bald head. The sweetest guy. He's one of my favorite human beings on the planet.
Shout out my dad.
Shout out to Dad. And this young woman was like, what the fuck what do I look like? You see the fucking menu? just effing
What the fuck you want to order?
Yeah, it just... So it was... and he didn't realize, what the fuck? He's like, this woman is going in on me. And I was like, oh, shit, Bernie, I'm sorry, I forgot. This whole time, I've never told him what the deal is with the Wiener Circle. And then he was like, oh, okay. So now that he's shell-shocked, I'm explaining to him what the deal is with Wiener Circle. So sorry, Bernie, but we all got a laugh. It was fun. I believe it was really funny. Those ladies talked some shit at some of the other family members. And we got some burgers, some cheese fries. Went out back. They've got they've got a beautiful back patio spot now too. So that was fun. That was fun too. We also, and I'm just jumping around.
No, all good. At this point, we might as well just whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever comes to recollection.
Please
right?
feel free to jump in. Mm-hmm. We did. Every time when I'm back and forth, if I'm away for too long, it's really important for me to hit Greek and to hit German.
Oh man!
And sadly, during 2020, during the pandemic, the Great Chicago Brauhaus closed. That was an institution on the north side in Lincoln Square, big German hub. But we still have other spots, and Laschitz Inn, right there on Irving Park, is a spot that we went to. Was that your first time having German food? Or Chicago German?
Yes.
Because we had it in La Brea, in Versthaus in L.A.
Yeah, but I actually felt like I was in European vacation, Chevy Chase to Griswold's. That was such a cool, the interior, it was so dark in there.
It is an old school German restaurants. You might as well be in a pirate ship. I mean, there are some walls. There are some walls that are painted beige or cream. I think they decided to put they decided to upgrade back in the 80s.
But it's mostly dark brown.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's but that's the
no
thing.
decor had a single English word.
It's all advertisements of German beer brands, of German cities, and all of that. And
it was so cutty that we walked right past it, and we were just like, oh wait, no, it was right here.
That's my fault.
I mean, I wouldn't have noticed either. I was just walking, just like, I believe all these places
At the time, in my defense, they were doing renovations on the outside, and I just kept going. Although, as a lifer, I really should have known better. But anyways, we walked past that. I'm like, wait a minute. Where's it at? We walk back, we go in.
We're like, oh, this is it. And then we walked inside and we were just like, wow, I feel like I just got transported to Germany right now.
You walk in and
that
it's
cool.
You've got the bar, tavern right there. And then you walk up further into the dining areas. You've got several elk and deer heads on the wall. Mm-hmm. You've got massive beer steins, in every view. And we did the traditional. We did schnitzel, spätzle.
I definitely got a schnitzel.
Yeah. That's definitely what I usually do.
Pretty sure we got pretzel.
Yeah.
What else was on that table? Maybe someone got a brat or a sausage. I can't remember.
I do remember seeing sausage on the table. It's hard to go to.
Definitely
a German
got
place.
old styles. Like that's for damn sure.
Yeah, well, we got some old styles, but we also got German stuff.
No, we totally did.
I don't remember. I didn't get beer that day, but I know I Ken, your dad.
Maybe I think we did get the house stuff.
Yeah. No, I do remember there being several different German beers available. I mean, not that you can't get an old style at a German restaurant, but you know, if you're going to go to it's sort of like you go to a Chinese restaurant and you don't get, Kung Pao or something. It's like those people that go and get like fried chicken at a Chinese. Not to say that Chinese fried chicken isn't great.
I think I just associated old style beer.
Well, the signs are everywhere.
Just because the signs are everywhere and like the font.
Yeah.
Very German.
And it is Heidelberg. It is, I believe, the brewery. I mean, it all came from some German, some 100 years ago.
Yeah.
But no, we did the beers. We did I'm sure there were some sausages. We definitely did schnitzel, spätzle, stewed red cabbage with sauerkraut. The impressive one was, again, Mikey. I'm so sorry he's not here. Mikey got a full order. And this is something that, in LA, we go to a place called Wursthaus, and they're solid. But I'm always not completely full when I leave. Just it's very LA portioned. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you go to Chicago.
Very conservative size.
Yes, and which is fine because you can go and get like dessert afterward or whatever. So shout out to Wursthaus in LA. But in Chicago, I've never gotten anything more than
full order.
What we call a half order. Okay.
Yeah,
half order is a lot of food in Chicago. It's probably half the price for almost 2/3 more food. But what does Mikey do? Mikey, our tank of a man, our rugby player, he goes in full order. And I'm like, whoa. And this dude, he did it.
He put it away.
I'm
sure.
Put it away and even had some beer with it. So shout out to Mikey. And it was fun because there was a German family behind us when we were there singing German songs. They got their schnapps. Everything. It was a very authentic experience. I'm so glad you guys got that. But yeah.
I would agree too.
Shout out to Laschet's Inn there on Irving Park Road in Chicago. Solid German spot. There's other spots. There's Himmel's. There's other great spots, but Laschet's has really, in recent years, sort of become my go-to, and especially with the loss of the Brauhaus, it's Laschet's. What else? Did we do Tango Sur, the Argentine steakhouse?
We did.
That was... Oh my gosh, yeah. I love Tango Sur.
That was, I think, the final day.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I think I remember being sad. Tango Sur, speaking of dark, what was your impressions of Tango Sur? Have you ever been to an Argentine steakhouse before?
That was my first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was delicious. I felt like I was at a sit down.
I mean, that's really what it is because you sit for those of you that aren't familiar with Argentine culture. Argentines are very much like the Spanish. They're like the Italians because they're both. That's really the Argentine culture. It's Spanish, it's Italian, and it's you're going for a meal. You're gonna park it for several hours, and that's kind of what they do there. And Argentine cuisine is meat and wine and more meat and like fried potatoes. It's the star of the show is your steak. Or I love their lengua. I love that their lengua de vinagreta is delicious. It's beef tongue that is basically cooked in vinegar with marinated vegetables with warm bread. Oh my God, it's so good. But I believe Mikey got a tomahawk. He got a massive steak, whatever it was.
We probably did, yeah.
Yeah, and everybody did. And I think even though it was like a group of 9 of us, it was still under $300. These Californians were shocked at our Chicago prices.
Yeah, that's another thing. Just like in general, the entire trip, like just the pricings compared to California food and like especially LA food, like we were just always blown away on like how expensive the bill was or how expensive just like one beer at a bar is. Like I didn't go with them
or how inexpensive rather.
Yeah, inexpensive. I'm sorry. They went with my parents and like another group of family members that I didn't go with last year. And how much were those old styles? Like $3?
$2 or $3. We were in the Wicker Park neighborhood, which is like the Cali fam has really helped me see. I'm seeing Chicago through their lens, through their eyes, and
Like a soda doesn't
we're just
even
in
cost
love
that cheap.
with the West Side. And we find this place called the Rebel Room. And again,
Yeah, I need to check that place out next time.
it's $3 old styles, $3 cans of old style. We were going to another place. We wanted to go to another. It was another bar or lounge, and Wicker Park has great spots. We weren't dressed for the Violet Hour, which you have to no caps, and I think you got to have jackets at Violet Hour. It's a great lounge. We've been to on other trips, but on this particular trip, yeah, we were headed to one place. We went in there. It was just a little too packed, a little too loud, so we just kept walking. And we're there on Milwaukee, and we go to Rebel Room. We find it's called the Rebel Room. We find this place, big sort of red leather couches. We go in. They have old styles for $3. A couple family members got some mixed drinks. Again, we kept getting each other like, this can't be right. They're just shocked by the prices. And we just hung out and we just talked and drank. And I think thereafter we went to the Hat. Those of you who are in Chicago and know. The Hat is, I believe it's Ashland and North Avenue. The Hat, there's several throughout the city. It's where you go where you can get all the Chicago street food. You can get a gyro. You can get Chicago-style hot dogs. You can get an Italian beef. You can get pizza puffs. All that stuff. And so, yeah, we had our drinks, and then we walked, and then we got our food, and then we walked back. But, yeah, the Rebel Room, shout out to the Rebel Room. Shout out to Violet Hour there. Both of those are in Wicker Park. Great spots. Great spots. But, yeah, so we did Tango Sur. We did Lashett's Inn. I could have swore we went to Greek Isles for the Greek food, right?
We did.
Okay,
that was day. It says right here, Friday the 4th.
And what did you guys get? Did you guys do moussaka? Did you do Greek chicken? I know we ordered
We
a ton
did
of stuff. We did family
what's
stuff.
the cheese that you light on fire?
Saganaki.
So we definitely did that.
Flaming cheese. That's a must.
I don't remember getting gyro meat, like beef, lamb, anything.
Okay.
I know we got a salad. We had the...
Yeah, you gotta get the salad.
What's called Saganaki is what you called it?
Yeah, Saganaki is the flaming cheese. We definitely did Greek salads. I believe several people got the moussaka. Someone got a sample plate. Like it had moussaka, it had
That's when we
chicken.
met up. That's when we met up with
Oh yeah, we met up with my cousins,
Yes.
Amber and Matt.
Yes,
Yeah, my
yes,
cousin
yes.
Amber
Shout
and her
out
husband
Amber and
Matt. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they met us. Shout out to them. They're great. And yeah, we were eating there at the Greek Isles in Greektown, which is just right off of the Blue Line. There again, also West Side, just north of the University of Illinois Chicago, my alma mater. Shout out to UIC. Yeah, that was fun too. That was good food. This is the thing. I swear to God, we do other stuff. I swear to God, we walk around, we look at buildings, we do things.
Oh yeah, there was that one lookout point in the south side. It was near the White Sox stadium. We parked our cars and it was just right off the water, and we just had the perfect we had the perfect pan view of the entire stretch of skyline.
Yes. There's that same night that my cousin brought us.
That was on the way back from
either
Vito
to
Nick's.
or from Vito Nick's. I can't remember. We stopped by Comiskey, and I was just really disappointed that Comiskey is not as well lit as Wrigley is. You know, it's again, we as Sox fans, we have to be demanding more of Jerry Reinsdorf and all that. It's like Wrigley Field. It is known internationally. It is known worldwide. It is well lit all the time. And then you get down to the south side, and if it's past dark, you can't even see that it's there. So that's just my criticism there. We need light. Can we get some lights on Sox Park, please? Thank you. All right. But no, where we went, it wasn't the south side where we had that view of the city. And I'm blanking now. It's basically, I know what it is. It's museum, basically the museum park, where you're south, you're heading out to the planetarium, the Shed Aquarium, and you head out to those sort of spots.
Oh,
those
yeah,
peninsulas.
that's right.
And then you turn around and you look, and you basically have this beautiful view of the Chicago skyline. So yeah, again, this is Mike. Mike just does the most for the family and for the tour. So again, I could not have asked for better with them. So we did that. I'm trying to anything else. Any just other impressions. I don't want to
No,
I feel
no.
like you're put on the spot.
No, not at all.
But we went, so it was crisp, it was fall, it was clean.
I just think the atmosphere is just such a... I'm not going to say laid back in a sense that it's like Hawaii laid back, but being a Californian and we have San Francisco, we have LA, and then I'm not from the East Coast, obviously, but then of course...
And I've spent time in New York.
Of course, there's New York,
We're
too,
not
right?
as...
So, like,
we don't go as hard in intensity as New York does. We're not as laid back as Hawaii.
Yeah.
We're not as... I don't want to say LA's lackadaisical, but everybody is sort of cocooned in their... is cocooned in their car and sort of siloed up in their neighborhoods in LA.
In LA.
So
Yeah,
you're sort of your own universe in LA. Chicago is... It's warm. It is laid back. If there's one thing Chicago is, we walk with intention. You know, it's just like you get out and it's like, okay, boom, boom, boom. Like people are moving, people are shuffling, you know, we're going places, we're doing things. But if we see you, and this happens all the time. Mm-hmm. I used to do this. Yeah, I mean, I still did this. When you see somebody who looks lost, like, do you need help? When we as Chicagoans find out somebody is not from town, we immediately all become ambassadors. And it's like, okay, yeah, you hop on, you can hop on the Brown Line here in the Loop, and you take that all the way to Kimball, and then you'll be here, or whatever it is. But we absolutely, we are true ambassadors. You know, there were times in New York where it's like I knew I was lost, and I would ask people, but it kind of felt like I was bothering. Not all of them. I love New Yorkers. I spent time in New York. I've worked in New York. I love New York. But I would say in Chicago, we are we're the only other major metropolis, true metropolis in America outside of New York City. Chicago is a true metropolis. But we are also, because we're in the Midwest, we sort of have that more laid back, hey, what are you doing here? Yeah, what do you like? Da-da-da-da. You should get a drink here. You should have coffee there. You know, have you had an Italian beef yet? It's very laid back. I think we're very engaging.
Engaging, yeah. I think that's the right way to say it. It's engaging. It's warm. Like there's movement, but it's conscious movement. It's not just robotic movement.
Right.
You know.
And we don't run people over. You know, we don't. It's it's just, we walk fast, as they found out. I when the Cali folks, I mean, yeah, obviously the kids can keep up, but everyone's like, you're walking too fast. Like, we're in the city. You got to keep up.
Got to.
But I was pleased that you guys were pleased. I can't remember, was it you and Mikey, or was it Alex and Mikey? I can't remember exactly where we were getting on the Brown Line, and was it you two talking to this lady? It was one of the Yale stops, one of the Brown Line stops, and
just the CTA worker.
The CTA worker.
Oh yeah, that was when me and Mike.
Yeah, her name. Okay, it was you two.
Yeah.
This
She was
lady
very
Joan.
nice.
They had just walked in, and I think I went to go get Ken or somebody, and I come back, and this lovely woman. Shout out! Was it Jill or Joan? I can't remember her
Something
name.
with the J. Yeah.
Yeah,
she was very
just
nice.
talking with my nephews and just showing them, you know, here's how you maneuver the city. That was just.
She was very sweet.
Yes, it was so great to walk in there and. This woman, again, ambassador, God bless Jill, at CTA, just talking to my nephews, just saying, oh, you're not from here. Okay, so this is where you're at now, and where would you like to go? Well, you take this Brown Line here, you can head to the Loop. My heart was just full when I saw that.
Definitely, yeah, shout out to her.
That was pretty great.
I really do like the riding the L experience, you know.
I love the train. I love the train so much. I love the train.
Wasn't dirty. You know, you could see the whole city, you know, when it's on the actual, like, elevated.
Yes, because we call it the L, and it is an elevated train, but it is also a subway. It does all those things.
But, like, when it's outside, and you can see, like, 360 view, buildings, skyline.
Like, when you're leaving the Loop downtown,
really cool.
or, like, you're on the north side, and you're on that red line, or you're on the, elevated green line heading west or south. It is a true Chicago experience. It's because it's one of those things where, like, I mean, you have BART in San Francisco. There is a metro of sorts in LA, but it's not as expansive as, say, the MTA in New York or the CTA in Chicago. So, again, getting these guys on the train is so fun because they understand. And if there's one thing I would like to see Chicago teach LA or any other major metropolitan city that doesn't have that widespread is invest in your trains, invest in subways, elevated trains, because the quality of life, you can take in your city,
Yeah.
You save money from car payment, fuel, maintenance, insurance, all that stuff. But yeah, the L is a true Chicago experience. Did we go to, I can't remember if we went, I don't think we went to Oak Park on that visit with you guys. We didn't go do the Frank Lloyd Wright. I think that was with Jackie. Yeah, that wasn't with you guys.
We didn't walk past that area.
No, because it's the end of the Green Line. You would have remembered that.
Okay.
Like it's like a 25-minute ride from like because we but that wasn't the Wrigley. That wasn't
Next
the
time
Wrigley
for
trip.
sure. Next time.
But yeah. Any other parting thoughts? I appreciate your coming on.
Of course. No, that was such a fun trip. I can't believe that was already almost 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh, it flew.
Time really flew by. Yeah, obviously the food is always going to be the star of the show, but
Food, people.
just the image of the city itself. Like, of course, there's the skyscrapers, but I also didn't know how many brick buildings there are. Like,
Yeah.
that like brick buildings in itself is like apparently such a like an identity of Chicago.
No,
which I think
it's
is
literally
really cool.
When you mention to people who build or people who are interior designers or renovators, people know Chicago brick, and that's Chicago brick. We rebuilt our entire city. This is and something people need to understand. Little quick history lesson is Chicago is referred to as the second city, not because we're second to anyone, but because the first one burned the fuck down in 1871. So this is Chicago 2.0, the second city, as it were. And so when we rebuilt everything, because the first whole city was built with wood, and that's why the whole thing burned down. So we rebuilt everything with brick and concrete and marble. And so, yeah, that's why so many buildings and there's so much Chicago brick, so many beautifully colored bricks. And that was one thing that the nephews and the nieces like, wow, everything's really solid here. You know, and that's of course on purpose because we saw what happened the last time. Literally, you know, Mrs. O'Leary's cow took out an entire city. So that's not happening again. But yeah, so great. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. I'm so glad you love the city. Oh no, absolutely. We are.
I've been looking forward to this for a while.
Oh yeah, no, and we're gonna have Eric back.
Yeah,
Eric's a booster. Eric's one of the
Appreciate
most solid human beings I've ever met. He's one of my favorite people on earth.
Very much
He's
appreciate
down for food. He's an incredible DJ, incredible composer.
Thank
Check him.
you.
He's on Instagram. Kolour Kode. It's KOLOURKODE.
Yep.
On Instagram.
So at Kolour Kode Music on all the socials.
Yeah, no, he's you follow him on Spotify, follow him on SoundCloud, follow him on all that. But this was a lot of fun. Thanks for coming on. We're gonna do more. Again, we're trying to get another trip in. Hopefully, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
but,
I'm trying to make that one work.
Yeah.
So we'll have more stuff to report back on.
Yeah, for sure. But thank you all for watching. If there's stuff that you think I should show the fam, those of you that follow, please mention it in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, share, but definitely mention if there's spots in your part of town that are worth visiting. Chicago is a city of neighborhoods. It's so important that we don't let these tourists get stuck downtown the entire time. So please mention.
Put us on.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And we will put you on.
We love your city.
Absolutely. Yeah. So thank you, Chicago. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And we'll see us in the next one.
See you guys. Have a good one.